Daenerys theoretically could return in Game of Thrones' Jon Snow spin-off, but there's only one good way to make it happen. There are a few ways Daenerys Targaryen could return in Game of Thrones' Jon Snow sequel, but only one of the options is actually good. While her fate in Game of Thrones ending seemed definitive, Jon Snow killing Daenerys hasn't stopped theories and speculation around a potential comeback. Now, with a Jon Snow spin-off in the works at HBO, and Kit Harington reprising his role, that talk is only going to increase. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and also click on the notification bell to remain updated. This is the case for Game of Thrones' Jon Snow spin-off beyond just Daenerys. Because it's so directly linked to the main show, then there will inevitably be an expectation of other returning Game of Thrones characters alongside Jon. Some of those are obvious and arguably inevitable: Tormund Giantsbane, Kristofer Hivju, and Ghost, and many others are possible since they're still alive, such as Sansa Stark, Sophie Turner, or Tyrion Lannister, Peter Dinklage. Daenerys' death makes her a more curious case and certainly harder to bring back, and it would undoubtedly be a risk however it is done, but there's a way to make it work. Here are some ways in which she could return to the show. Number 1, Daenerys should only return to Game of Thrones in Jon Snow's dreams, or nightmares. There are 3 somewhat realistic options for Daenerys' return in Jon Snow's sequel: flashbacks to Game of Thrones, an actual return from the dead, or appearances in dreams, nightmares, or similar visions. The middle of those would be a major mistake, regardless of how controversial her death was. The first could in theory work, but wouldn't hold as much value. Though Game of Thrones Season 8 was rushed, there's not much between Jon and Daenerys viewers haven't seen that would add a significant amount to his spin-off, should it even happen. Daenerys returning via dreams or nightmares, on the other hand, is a compelling idea. Jon is carrying with him a lot of scars and trauma after all that happened in Game of Thrones, and him being visited by the ghosts of Westeros' past would be a fascinating and dark way of bringing people back. As well as Daenerys, this could include Ned Stark to add more weight to Jon's Targaryen heritage, and Ygritte as Jon returns beyond the wall and deals with all he has lost. Number Jon 2, Snow's sequel needs to confirm Daenerys is still dead after Game of Thrones. One big theory claims Daenerys was resurrected in Volantis after Game of Thrones ending, with Drogon taking her body there to be brought back by the Red Priestesses. While technically it's just about plausible, it has a lot of problems. There is seemingly no reason for the Lord of Light to bring Daenerys back, and ultimately her story is over. Mileage varies on whether that was good, disappointing, or an outrage, but it's done and her arc is very much complete. It's too wild a choice, and would completely upend everything that happened. Some may want that, but it doesn't really fit, especially because it would basically mean doing more Game of Thrones. Still, the Jon Snow spin-off can address Daenerys' death by bringing her back. Having Daenerys haunt him in dreams could also serve as confirmation that she is still dead and has not been resurrected. Of course, leaving out Dany entirely could also imply as much, but this way it can be more definitive and still serve Jon's story. Killing Daenerys was a huge decision and has to weigh in him in the upcoming Game of Thrones spin-off, and having her return in some way can debunk a bad theory and make her and Jon's endings better. Of course, it's not just a matter of whether Daenerys Targaryen can return in Game of Thrones, but whether the actor behind her would come back. Emilia Clarke discussed returning for Jon Snow's spin-off in a June 2023 interview, saying that she doesn't think she'll be in it, and that Harington hasn't called asking her to be. Although a disappointing update, it follows the same line as Clarke's comments on a Daenerys return from June 2022, where she said, "No, I think I'm done." Given how long Clarke spent playing Dany, it's not surprising she'd be reluctant to return. At the same time, if Harington did come calling and the role was just a cameo, then it wouldn't be shocking to see her back. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.